funny when I'm in front of the camera. Hi guys, my name is Rachel and today I am going to be filming my first ever Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday is run by Lainey and I will leave her channel and the Goodreads page down below in case you want to check it out. So today's topic is the top 5 books that you read in one sitting. Now before we begin, I don't really read any books in one sitting just because I don't really read that fast. So some of these I read in like 2 days, or I read the majority of them in one sitting, or I just read really quickly because I don't really read books in one sitting. The order that I will be showing you is from like the oldest to the most previously read. So let's get started. The first book that I have to show you today is The Program by Suzanne Young. And I actually found it at Pal's like a long time ago. I just got back from Pal's yesterday. I was there yesterday with my Girl Scout troop. But this was a really good book, actually. It's a dystopian, and it's about a girl named Sloane, and she has this boyfriend, and they're dating, and they really like each other, but there's this epidemic where a whole bunch of teenagers are committing suicide, and so if you show any sort of symptoms of sadness or depression, they put you in a hospital, and they like erase your memory so that they get rid of that sadness, and then you come back all weird. But it wasn't like the greatest book I've ever read in my entire life, but I did read it really quickly because it draws you in and you want to know what happens in the end. It was a pretty good book. I think it's a trilogy, but I've never read the other two. I don't know. Next book I have to show you today should probably come as no surprise. I read it last summer. I read it in 2 days, and that is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I read this so fast just because I love everything about this book, and when I read in the summer, it's easier for me to read fast because I can stay up all night if I want to. So, this obviously makes the list. Number 3 on my list, I read it this last fall during the school year, so it was interesting. I read it pretty fast because I was a busy woman, but it's a quick read if you have, I mean, it's big. All of these books have been kind of big. Like, not that this book is big, but it's not exactly little. 487 pages. So it's not the longest book in the world, but I read it in like less than a week. And I flew through it just because I've read the whole trilogy and I didn't like the other two, but I really liked this book. This book's definitely worth the read if you haven't. Most people have. But if you haven't, Divergent by Veronica Roth. Fast, quick, you get pretty connected to the characters, there's lots of growth, and it flies, it looks big, but you fly through it. Next one shouldn't come as a surprise either. Wonder, it's a really good book. Again, I think I read it in 2 days, maybe 3, I think it was 2 days, and probably just because I love the characters in this book so much. It's interesting because I don't know if I mentioned this in my other video, but a connection that I have to this book is I was actually reading it while I was babysitting, and the 2 kids that I babysit, they were also reading this at the same time, and so not only did I have some time to read it after they went to bed, but also it gives me a warm and fuzzy feeling knowing that other people are sharing this book with me, and I can share my joy with someone about this book. I think everyone should read this. It's a really important book to read, and it's pretty quick. Finally, and this kind of shouldn't count. I finished it yesterday and I read it in less than a week. That is The Summer I Turned Pretty, the entire trilogy by Jenny Han. It's a bind up of all 3 that I found at Target last week. I read this. I had read Winger. I read Winger last week, and I really don't like Winger at all. There's a lot of reasons I don't like it, and I will, in case anybody wants to hear me rant, I don't want to make a video about it just because I feel like people will hate me, but I did write my opinions on a Goodreads review, which I'll link down below as to the reasons why I'm not a big fan of that book at all. I really despise it. That was the first book I've ever gotten really angry at, and so even though I have tons of books that I need to read, I was saying that I really need to read something happy and something summery because I am on summer vacation, and I actually read part of this by the pool, and I read it in the car when it was really nice and windy and sunny, and so this book follows a girl whose nickname is Belly. Her real name is Isabel, but they call her Belly. And it's just about her life through consecutive summers and two brothers and her mom and her brother. And it seems just kind of fluffy. And the first book is a little bit fluffy. It's a little bit fluffy. I gave the first two 4 out of 5 stars, both of them. And I think it gets wrapped up really well. Exactly what I wanted to happen happened in the third book, and so I gave the third book 5 out of 5 stars, just because I think that it just wrapped everything up really nicely. And I think this cover's really pretty. Like, no offense to the like separate books, but I don't like those covers. I really like this bind up just because it's so beautiful. And so I read this in less than a week, and that's kind of a big deal because this is like 851 pages, which is kind of, that's a lot. That's a lot of pages. And so I'm actually really proud of myself that I read this so quickly. And it was excellent. If you want a contemporary that isn't just fluff, Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!